If is a very common function. It's often got errors in it. So using Excel Analyzer, we can go and find all the if. When I click on it, it gives us a listing of all the if functions in the spreadsheet. A risk with if is how people type in the words true and false. So in this case, I've got my formula. I'm looking for the if. However, I want to go look in the text. I'm going to see if anywhere there's the word true or false in inverted commas. So notice here it says false inverted commas. I'm just going to click on it. And what you'll see now is that one of the formulas says if E4 equals false, but with inverted commas. So let's go look at that one. And what you'll discover is that the words true and false in Excel are special words in the sense that they are not actually words, they are numbers. However, if you put inverted commas around them, Excel treats them as a word. So you have to be very, very careful that Excel sees this as true and false. So in this case, we know, I'm going to just trace the formulas, it's looking here. And what we're trying to work out is this a valid Excel date or is it not? And what we're saying here, we've done a test. We've actually said it's false. However, Excel sees that actually as a 0. So this word, if E4 equals the word false, Excel is not seeing the word false here. So it's pretty much ignoring it and not fixing the error because this here is a logical operator. This here is a word, and Excel sees them as two totally different things. So generally speaking, the if function, true and false, should not have inverted commas on it. If is often used as a catch-all to create functions that perhaps already exist in Excel, but the user wasn't quite sure how to do it. So wherever there's a nested if function could be a risk. Now we could search here, but another way is I'm just going to hover over here. Let's just go up so we can see it properly. When I hover over here, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of if, and one of them has the number 9 there, if. So let's go find that. So I'm going to search here, and if you go towards the bottom where it starts combining functions, you'll see here we've got an if with a if with a if with a if. So that's a nested if. So let's search for it. So you'll see this looks like a complex if. What it's doing, it seems to be doing quite a complex routine. Let's go look what it's doing. When you get here, you'll see it's a very typical thing. Instead of using VLOOKUP, which should be used for things like sliding scales, you'll see this is doing a complex if to say if this number is between that and that, do one thing, that and that, do another thing. So these complex if functions you have to be very careful of, because should it be less than and equal to? Are the brackets in the right place? Has it been done in the correct order? And has anyone gone and inserted a row here and this is no longer looking at the correct place? So those are all the things you need to consider with a nested if. Now normally you would do that in the full part of the review, but it's just useful to be able to quickly see where these nested ifs are. An if function is often used and it can be quite complex. So it is useful sometimes just to search for anything that contains an if and then just scroll down and you'll see some of them that's not too bad, but it has some complexity. But as you go down, you may find that there are some complex ifs. So you'll see there's an if there, and occasionally they actually get combined with other functions, and that's where some of the complexity comes in. So it's a nice quick way to be able to look and see where am I going to have to spend my time figuring out what the if has done. As an if tends to use a logical operator somewhere to do its logical test, for example, that less than 1, you need to look at those and see if they make sense. So that less than 1, that equals to 1. So should that be less than 1 or less than and equal to 1? Should it be bigger than? And by looking through the listing, you can see the test. So you'll see this if function is using an OR function in it. This one says it must equal the word month. This is bigger than and equals to. So it's well worth just looking through these to see if they do make sense. Look at the hard-coded numbers. Do you recognize a number that could be a problem?